one, the air squat. So we're warming on up. So I just want you to just bend the knees just a tiny bit. I don't want you to go through any pain in the joints. I want you to start building some heat in these quadriceps. Look how shallow I am. Doesn't matter, okay? It's A-okay. Keep the feet flat, bend the knees a little bit, keep your chest and chin upright without going to an extreme of arching your back. Just kind of stay neutral. When you feel pretty good, we'll lower down ever so slightly and we'll hang out here. So like I said, this might actually look pretty similar to some of our other yoga exercises, because a lot of yoga, when we stretch out in a position, is basically a static hold. When you stretch your legs in a lunge, which we will do, it will be a static hold as well. So, like I said, you might have, you'll be pretty familiar with some of these, so they won't be too aggressive. You won't be able to handle anything like that. It'll be A-okay, and hopefully you'll feel nice and comfortable. So, finally starting to feel it in these legs a little bit. I'm gonna hang out maybe like 10 more seconds. Try not to rest on your hands. Just keep your arms letting it hang loose. Just be able to talk through this a little bit, no big deal. Alright, definitely starting to feel it now. That's good. And I'm gonna come on up. Alright, do the same thing, I'm just gonna go wider. So pressing on out. Biggest thing is we change our position is watch the knees. You want them to be the same way your toes are pointing. So my toes are pointing somewhat outwards, so my knees are following that same line. They're not in like this. You see the line would be pointing down to the ground. They're more out, and the line would be pointing pretty close to where my toes are. So you go out whatever's comfortable with for you. If you keep your toes pointed more forward, that's okay too. Again, as long as you have these knees pointed about where your toes are. So here we are, hanging on out, a little bit wider, get a little bit of stretch across the thighs, the groin area. We're just, again, just building up the heat in these quadriceps. I promise we will get the back of the legs some, so don't worry that all our legs are going to be burning right through here. Will a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And just a little bit longer. Alright, we'll come on up. I'm going to keep my legs out wide. I'm going to give myself a little bit more aggressive by leaning into one side versus the other. So I'm going to go to my right. I'm going to lean on into it. Same deal. Have this knee pointing right where the toe is. And just bend on down a little bit. And look, this is nice and shallow. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I'm just trying to get these muscles warmed on up, get the blood pumping to them. I'm trying to keep these joints healthy. I don't want pain through my knee while I'm doing this. I want to be able to build strength. And hopefully if you do this a few times a week, eventually you'll have a good day where you feel really warm and loose already, and you'll be able to sink a little bit lower without any pain. Eventually it will happen. You just got to keep working through it, test yourself, and push yourself, but not too aggressively too quick. Longevity is the name of the game, and I always like to harp on frequency. You're able to do this exercise routine again, if not tomorrow, the next day. If you're a little bit too sore to do it all tomorrow, that's no big deal. Hopefully you can find something else to do. But if you're too sore for the next 3 days to do the same exercise routine, then it's a little bit too much, and you can always back it up. And with a static hold, that either means for the time amount, how long did you hold it, or how low did you go to be as aggressive when we go to the other side. I'll keep talking. So it's really nice because these are really easy ways to dial that intensity forward and backward. Sink low, a little more forward, go for a longer time, a little more forward intensity, come off of the position a little bit, or dial back the time, and you can find out a really good, perfect spot for you. And that means play around with it. Some days you might want to go a little bit lower, challenge your flexibility and your balance, but if you go lower, you may not be able to hold it as long, and that's A-okay too. You can do this exercise with the wall behind you, where you put your back flat against it. I'm okay with that, I just don't happen to have one right now. It is a little harder to do these side-to-side things with your back pinned up against the wall, but that very first air squat, definitely doable. Alright, we're going to come on up. Let's see. some cases pretty macro in my case at least. Look how big these movements are. But there should be very small movements happening. If you're walking on your toes, it's okay. But you do want to find your balance point eventually and just kind of chill on out. This isn't doing very good. The ground's a little bit uneven here. There we go. It also depends on how much you challenge yourself, like really how far you go up on your toes versus being a little bit more on the balls of your feet. Hang out a little bit. Don't let your muscles cramp up. Sometimes static holds do that because you're just squeezing as hard as you can without any relaxation. Those muscles sometimes don't want to relax when you come on down. We'll chill out here. I happen to fall out of it. So yeah, static holds sometimes make your muscles want to cramp on up. So don't get to that level because that'll take a long time to ease off. Again, going up on the toes. This time I'm really focusing, if say my hands were my feet, I'm really focusing on kind of going into my big toe. The ball of my foot right here, pushing on into that. Almost like my pinky toes are coming on off the ground themselves. And I'm trying not to walk around a lot. This is a static hold. I'm trying to just get a spot where I can hold it. I'm trying to go up really high and get a really good squeeze. I might be going a little bit too much. There we go. Okay, there's a kind of good medium spot right there where I can feel it in my calves. I know I'm doing something, but I'm not constantly falling around. This is good. I found a gazing spot. I'm looking at this leaf right here in the ground. That helps me on out. Good. Spoke too soon, right? Getting a good burn. I'm going to come on down shortly. Come on down. Remember, we're pushing on the inside of those big toes, kind of pushing on out. Now we're going to go to the flip side. We're going to go onto the pinky toe. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of roll my feet on out. I don't know if you can see it from here. It's probably not really perceptible, but I'm on the outside of my feet a little bit, and now I'm going to roll. Again, if my hands are my feet, I'm pushing on into my pinky toe as I come on up. Don't cramp your foot up. You can always roll to the center of your foot so you feel more balanced. But the goal is to get those calves warmed on up right back here, and the arch of your foot moving as well, and your toes, and the entirety of your foot. Nice and a nice little workout. Get it happy. I thought this would be such a balance exercise. Like I said, these are all static holds. Some are more static than others. This is a little bit more movement involved than I would say. You could stable yourself on something as long as your calves are still getting the workout. That would be okay. Oh man, I feel it for sure. It's good. Let's try this out real quick. I'm gonna go by my calves again. I'm gonna keep one foot just entirely flat for my stability, and I'm gonna go on this right foot. So I'm gonna take my weight on my right foot, and I'm gonna go on the outside of it again. I'm on my pinky toe, and I'm just keeping my left foot here just to kind of rest. This is harder and easier in different ways. This is harder because I have way more weight on this leg now. Like I would say, this leg is here just balancing me, so I don't have to worry about that. But man, oh man, I'm probably holding up 90% of my body weight versus 50% on each one. Man, I feel that quickly. Right up the side of this leg. Change it up a little bit. Let's go to the other side. Again, I'm on the pinky toe on my left leg. My right leg is just here to balance me out. Alright, that's pretty good. Pressing on it. This is great for the ankles and the calves and the balance. You can take it to whatever kind of level you want, whatever kind of range of motion. It's nice to work on rolling on the outside and inside the feet. If you always work on just going right down the middle, you'll have great strength and ability to propel forward, which is most of the time what we do while walking and everything like that. But on those odd occasions where you happen to step sideways and that ankle starts to roll, if you don't have the strength or the flexibility to allow it to roll or to pull it back into a neutral position, then that's where injury occurs. So working on having that strength in a variety of angles is definitely a great thing. I'm going to finish on up and come on down. I'm going to do that again. I'm just going to go on the inside of my toes again. I'm on my right foot again, on my big toe, coming on up, taking the weight of the brunt of this work. While you do this, you know, take your time, play around with your foot position, see if you can't get different parts of the calf and the foot really woken on up. When I did the outside, I felt it right on the outside of my calf. Now that I'm doing this, I'm feeling it a bit more in the deeper, in like the belly of it. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time to focus. You gotta kind of wake those muscles on up. It's a connection between the brain and the muscles, a neuromuscular connection. Sometimes we get into kind of this default habit of like the muscles always contracting in the same exact way. But a lot of times you can get a little bit more nuanced effect, just like how you can get, you know, more dexterity in your hands, other foot, when you play an instrument. I'm on the left foot and I'm on my big toe. This is going to finish off the calves too, so if you're feeling it in your feet and calves, don't worry, they're about done. This is my last one on this side. We've done the middle, we've done the inside, outside of both feet at once. Now we're doing individual foot, outside, inside of both individual feet. Finish this on up, and we will begin working on some upper body stuff. So we'll give the legs a little bit of a rest. They're not done yet. We have to get the hamstrings and glutes. We can do all this next stuff from the floor. All right, coming on down after a nice little rest there. Legs feel it, they need a break. So now we're coming on into the next classic one, the plank. We're gonna get some upper body going on. We're gonna start off with a full extension just for a little while. I think it's the hardest one. Go ahead and get that one out of the way. Then we'll come down to the elbows, we'll come onto the sides, and this will all look very familiar. And you can always, I'll show you different varieties and options. So let's come on up to the full body. You can always come down to your knees if you need to. Just avoid like letting your body flop on down, okay? You gotta keep your body up strong. And our next biggest thing is pushing through the arms. Don't flop through. You gotta push up, okay? So you can be here, I don't care. As long as your body looks pretty straight from your head, shoulder, down towards your hips and knees. That's the biggest thing. We're looking for fairly straight here. This is not straight, and this is not straight. This should be pretty close. I can't see it either, but it's got to be pretty close. And classic plank. Alright, coming on down. Let's come down to the arms. Again, biggest thing with this is watching the body and the shoulders. Don't collapse through. We want to be able to push away, all right? That's the biggest thing, is pushing through. You're hanging out here. You can hang out as long as you want. Do your workout. It's pretty hard. I can slouch on down. I can hang out like this for a little bit longer. But I'm really focusing on pushing my arms all the way through. Alright, I'm gonna write this one down. Okay, so the goal with that was to keep those arms pushed through so you don't collapse down. Now we're going to do another arm one. It's going to come from the shoulders. We're going to make sure that we push down through our body. Okay? We're just going to sit however is comfortable. And I want to push my weight out. You don't have to push a lot. It's not a big deal. I want to get these shoulders as far away from my ears as possible. Push them down. Don't let them roll in. Okay? This is bad form. Keep them back. Keep them down. If you find yourself rolling in, take your hands and turn them out a little bit. That'll open your chest your triceps too, because they keep your elbow locked. But if it's locked on out, like really locked, the tricep actually doesn't have to do a whole lot because you're just really hanging out on the bones. If you're slightly bent, like this,